I just saw the Ashley Madison documentary on Netflix, and this is my very visceral reaction to it. And in full transparency, like a respectable sapiosexual that I am, I actually whoever watches the documentary and takes notes, okay, that's me. Hi, this is Liana, Holistic Intimacy Coach. Welcome back to my channel. Here, I help you get your orgasmic intimacy. Today, we're going to talk very subjectively because I'm also a human being and we've got a full image here. So from people that were in the business, from people that were customers of the business, from people that were married to the customers of the business. So we got a complex view on this topic. So yeah, it's going to be subjective and it's going to be subjectively complex. First of all, the numbers, was it 30,000 users, 30 million users, 40 million users, God knows. Okay, I'm sure that in terms of numbers, I'm not sure if they can be trusted. I mean, if you watch the show or the documentary, you will know that a lot of those accounts were fake, so I don't even have a clue. Like nowadays, apparently after this scandal went on several years back, it was 9 years ago, the platform still exists and now they claim they have 75 million. I don't really know if I will believe those people. So in case you don't know, at the beginning of the 2000s, with the explosion of the internet, a lot of dating sites popped up. One of them was Ashley Madison. And they were particularly going for the jugular, let's say. They were going for people that were already married and looking for something on the side. More precisely, they were targeting heterosexual men, married, that were in sexless relationships, or simply they were bored in their relationships with their wives, even if they were having sex, so they wanted something on the side. Those are the men that were paying. Apparently, the women were not paying. However, also apparently, because we never got any numbers, a lot of the women's accounts on the platform were just bots, because the platform needed to keep the business model going, and it turns out they didn't have that many women who were also active. The first reaction that I had was right from the beginning. It is fucking profitable to cheat, but is it more profitable than to marry? This was a very, very successful business model, and apparently it's not just Ashley Madison. There are also apps like Tinder, Bumble, OkCupid, God knows what others. However, I do wonder if it's more profitable to marry people, okay, the marrying industry, the wedding planning, wedding organizing, buying of homes, child rearing. I wonder which one is more profitable, okay, which industry. That was the first gut reaction that I had. Is it really more profitable to cheat on people overall, or is it more profitable to marry people? Like that was from an economical perspective, because this was presented right from the first episode. This is a business, we're making money off of people that are bored and want to cheat. Statistics here would help, and I wonder if anybody doing these documentaries, because they got a lot of manpower to do searches, if they could look into, okay, what is the wedding planning industry, what are other industries related to marriage, just to compare, just to give us an idea. Second visceral idea that I had, or reaction. I hope those people, so the customers, got something good for the trouble that came afterwards. The business was exposed in the most brutal way possible. Like this was a WikiLeaks of the dating apps. So databases were revealed with names, emails, financial history, preferences, photos, everything all the data that was available. It was leaked in 2, I think, rounds or more. Before that, when nobody knew who was on it, and people had seen the commercials, but nobody knew how to check who was there. I hope that those customers got something good out of it, because unless you were super honest with your partner, and then with the rest of the community, you are in for a very, very nasty ride when it was exposed. Third reaction that I had. Infidelity saves lives. That was the idea that the CEO of this, that stepped in and really bumped the numbers in the positive direction for the platform. That's what he was selling. He was a married guy. He told everyone that he was faithful. It turned out he wasn't. Okay, he was cheating on his wife with 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds from escort agencies. That was one of the nasty things that came out. But this guy, until everything was exposed, he was going on TV channels saying that infidelity saves marriages because marriages can get boring, tiresome, there are too many responsibilities, couples don't speak, so if they love their partners but they are not getting some, they can get it there and then they can go back home and they're happy. I do wonder if infidelity saves marriages, honestly. The principal that I work with, and I actually have a funny reaction here because I brought up this discussion when I was getting trained about fidelity versus infidelity. And one of my supervisors said, well, this is crap. If anybody that goes to coaching or any other place but they cheat on their partners and they don't want to come clean, what kind of trust are they building? What kind of a relationship is that? So one of the teachers that I had when I was training was really, really funny about this and also true. So I stand by this also. Lying behind somebody's back in the way that you're going to watch that documentary, I personally don't think it saves marriages. I'm going to jump to something else because somebody said, a guy said, he was happily married even though sex had become a chore in their relationship. So he didn't want to divorce his wife because he was happily married to her. He just wanted to get sex. So that's why he hopped on this app. So my reaction was, really, if you're not getting anything or sex became a chore, you call this a happy marriage? So my deeper reaction was, well, what is the definition of a happy marriage? What do we define as a happy marriage? And I think here, definitions vary. Let me tell you, one of the couples that was in or on this platform, they gave the definition of happy marriage. They were both on it. They had both informed each other to being there. They were both letting each other know when they had met or partnered or matched with somebody on that app and they were going out with that person, and they were getting their partner's approval beforehand. They were both on camera saying that very same thing. That was definitely a marriage that was not affected by the fallout of the app. Okay, and if there's anything there that can be said of a happy marriage, is that you can truly tell your partner everything. Like, tell them what you feel, what you want, what you need, and have understanding that also your partner, they can tell you what they want, what they feel, what they want to get. And if they can't get it with you, like either one of you, you allow each other, because these people were on board and they were a team, not leader follower, team. So both were in the app, both were doing this stuff. Everyone was getting what they needed, but they couldn't get from the marriage. That's honesty. It was fair on both sides. I do believe if you want to go about owning your instincts and owning the fact that marriage isn't easy and the pragmatic aspects can really take the best of you or get to the best of you, then I think this is the definition of a happy marriage. There were couples there that went on camera. They were brave enough to do so. And at least one widow, she was widowed after the platform was exposed and her husband was exposed there. So there were people there that whose marriages went through deep, deep trouble, and some people did commit suicide. Why? Because there was not complete trust between the people. And so those were the reasons for putting the marriage through pressure, or some people taking their lives. And the people that actually had the courage to go there were the people that were involved somehow in the religious community. One of them, the man that took his life, one out of many, he was teaching in a seminar where students were getting into the church. So This man, he was called in because he was also exposed. He was asked to resign. He did resign, but he also took his life and left a very suffering widow, who, by the way, had asked, like, if these guys had had the courage to be honest with each other. This woman suspected, okay, she suspected. She started checking, then she gave up. She said, you know what, I'm not going to do anything about it, so I don't even want to know. Had he come clean with her, he would have found out that she wasn't going to leave him. But of course, I think he took his life for multiple reasons, not just for his wife. I think that's one of the sad things about this, that you can't be honest in a relationship. I think if you can't be honest there, I think you don't have a happy marriage. That's my take on it. And anyway, the truth is going to be exposed, and which in this case it was. So the visceral reaction that I had here to people saying, oh, I'm in a happy marriage, I don't want a divorce, I just want to get something on the side, I totally challenge that definition. I don't think those people are happy. I don't think they know what happiness is. Happiness is, first of all, the peace of mind that you don't hide anything from your partner and that you are seen and understood there. If you go behind their back and lie to them, and it's not the actual sex that you're having with those people, it's the fact that you're lying multiple times about it to your life partner, the one that you're building your life with. That's not okay. It's the lying, okay? It's the deception. It's the going behind their back. Even if you go behind their back just to talk to somebody or whatever other fantasies you have, I think that's the sad part. That's the lack of happiness, that you can't be honest in totality. Like if there's something so dark about you that you have to hide from your most beloved person. And by the way, I gotta read you something. The man in the relationship that was honest, he said that he had 2 rules. 1, she always knows. 2, I always wear a condom. Somebody should tell Dr. Andrew Huberman that, really, like somebody should let him know you don't go around with other people and not wear a condom, honestly. And also cheat behind somebody's back. Like this guy was way better in the love department than Dr. Andrew Huberman. He was optimizing himself in this department of life, and I think that's commendable, especially now in the 21st century where we got so much temptation, so many goddamn apps, and people think that they can get away with cheating like that. No. You got to have a lot of balls, gentleman balls or lady balls alike, to be in a relationship where you open and you're also following some sanitary rules there. There were reasons given for people jumping on this app, like spouses don't talk to each other. Yeah, clearly. Honest communication doesn't have to be bitter communication, doesn't have to be savage or rabid communication. You don't have to jump at each other's throats and reproach to one another that you don't want what I want, why can't you give me what I want? No, that's not like honest communication, just in putting yourself out there and allowing the other person some time and space to process that. But you know what comes before honest communication, like speaking honestly with your spouse? Honest speaking or talking or being honest with yourself. Okay, accepting yourself for being afraid of not saying some things to your beloved, accepting yourself for, wanting something else than your beloved wife. Honestly, that is one of the most difficult things, and that's one of the things that people in relationships don't go for. That's why I'm yapping here on this YouTube channel a lot about being honest, going to coaching, asking yourself stuff about you, reaching in with yourself or reaching deep within, purging your emotions, all that. It's not just empty talk. If you can't do that with yourself, there's a high price to pay somewhere down the line. And it's sad when it's somebody's life or yours, like it was in some cases here. It's sad when it's your career, because the CEO that was exposed for wanting 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds, I don't think that guy is going to be working anywhere honorable or respectable anytime soon. honestly. Okay, what else were they invoking? So, stress from work, child rearing, no talking about bedroom stuff. One of the reasons that was, or one of the questions that were people in the business were asked were, who's your biggest competitor? And their answer was the Bible. And one of the guys in the business was saying how, in the Bible, there are not just 10 commandments, there were 613. And one of those commandments is don't eat shrimp. And then he proceeds to say, well, we already know we're breaking that one. So apparently no adultery, we're going to break that one also. Up until 2015, it proved that it was working. So no matter what the Bible says, people... several million, tens of millions of people weren't really following the Bible. So I guess that's out there also. Their biggest competitor wasn't perhaps the Bible. Also, one thing that I got here, which was a very grounded perspective on the business. At a certain point in the documentary, there's the one woman that was working in the customer service department. And she was the one that had to answer calls from the wives, because the wives were checking in on the receipts, the monthly receipts of their credit cards. And there was this payment of $90 that they didn't recognize. So they were just calling in to check what's that for, because they don't know it. And initially the platform was dismissing them, saying that, well, your name is not on the card, so we can't really answer you. So then the wives, what would they do? Because they were angry at that kind of an answer. They would sit their husbands down and call, again, the client service department, and they were asking for details about the payment. So these guys came up with a solution. We run multiple websites. This is a general cashing in platform service. We're not really sure for what this is, but just to make sure that everything's okay, we can refund the money. And apparently the husbands would come back later, call separately, thank the platform, and give a different credit card that they could charge further with. Just to show what kind of a communication there is in the marriage. And I think I'm not here on moral grounds, because believe me, I'm soon going to get to the question of what would I do if I were in the wife situation. But it's a pity that nobody talks, about these things. All right, I had to turn the page, so I got other stuff that I wrote. Yeah, it's a long list that I wrote here. One thing that the app representatives, they were saying was that security was a promise that they were making everyone, but they weren't really acting on it. Okay, it was just a promise. It was not action. And that's what ultimately got them. So they were essentially gambling away with their clients' trust, money, lives, marriages, all of that. If that is not a sketchy business model, I don't know what is. And if that is a business that is never deserving of any clients, I don't know what business is. Okay, you promise your people, basically that's your whole business model. You promise them discretion and security, and that they can delete safely all of their information, but you don't actually do it. That is the best way to say F you to your clients who are making you hundreds of millions in revenue per year. I would never touch that app again. Just for basically shitting on their clients. I'm not the one making hundreds of millions of dollars on people that were cheating on their partners, and then they had their lives ruined, and then go back to say, oh, it was our bad, here, we'll fix it now. No. I know the app is still running. I don't know who's stupid enough to pay that app money right now, but hey, it's their money, it's their choice. That's a business that totally screwed its clients. I wouldn't go there again, honestly. I don't even know what it's like to have hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue per year. I have no idea what that is like. I'll be honest. I don't know the kind of resources and the kind of specialists and tech people you can access with that kind of money. But I want to imagine that you could actually afford somebody that wasn't let's just, bad business, really. So I think those are people that are not even grateful for the abundance that they had, even if they were making it on really nasty premises. Even then, you should be grateful to the people that are bringing you that abundance and treat them with respect. But there are a lot of principles that business is just not operating on. Obviously, one of the tougher things were when this whole scandal broke, people started going on those lists looking for others that they knew. They were looking for dirt on other people. And there were some famous people there. There were some people that were working in the military or in the government. So it's basically everyone. People in the religious community that were dating on the side. Okay. So the amount of shadow that was present and other people going for the jugular, awful. Really, I think this app revealed one of the nastiest parts about us and what it means to not level with your partners. I'm going to go now into the personal reactions. First of all, the second episode, when they were spilling all the data, it gave me chills. Okay, I had to stop it for several times. I was just like, got chills on my back. My hair stood up on my head. I actually went for a shower to cool it and all of that. It was nasty. And especially when it got to the man that killed himself and the woman now, because several years after she was able to talk about it, awful. No, equally awful to hear those women that were trying to make their marriages work, doing the best they could to serve their husbands, and still finding out that they were not enough. Really, really, really nasty shit. Let's put me on the back light or on the light now. What would I do if I found the man of my dreams and I were to get in a long-term relationship, marry this guy, have kids with him, and then find out that he's been cheating on me and be exposed, to the public? What would I do? First of all, I would genuinely ask for help. I think this would be bigger than any of the practices that I do. I would go for help. To the very contrary, I don't talk a lot of personal stuff unless it's really, really core stuff in my family. And I don't talk, I stopped talking this kind of stuff with quote unquote friends also. I used to do that with some friends, and then I found out that friends were dishing out stuff with me. So I said, no, thanks, but no. So first thing, I would call for help. Secondly, I would take a break from work. There was no way I could facilitate practices or coaching sessions with anybody else or have inspiration to write any fantasy book when I would be with that kind of pain. Because let me tell you, when I get married, it's going to be because I love the guy. And anyway, I don't really go for intimacy with somebody unless I have some affection there also. So it would cut me, not just a knife, it would cut me with an axe to find out that he lied behind my back. Secondly, or thirdly, I would ask for help, really, really very trusted help. Take a pause from work. I don't know, a few weeks, I think. I would need to really get back on my feet. And then I would have to really get real with myself, because if there's something that I know from coaching is that it's not just one partner's fault. Probably my husband, if he were to cheat on me, he felt that if he were to tell me these things, he wouldn't get my approval, or I would leave him. Okay, so I would probably have to look into myself and really ask myself, would I really know the man that I'd marry in this scenario? I'd have to ask myself some of those very raw questions. And the next question would be, what would I do from then onward? Of course, that's not the second question. I don't think I would get an answer that fast. I would need time, probably several months, to realize if I could carry on with the relationship or not. Okay, so that would be a huge challenge for me. Could I forgive myself and then my partner? So I would totally need, like I said, ask for help and then ask for therapy or any kind of other facilitation, massive, because I would, no matter what I would do in relation to my partner, I'd still have to forgive myself. Massive, massive challenge there, spiritual challenge before anything else. So I'm not standing here on moral ground saying, wow, look at those people, I'm better than them. No. I am, however, sorry that there are lives lost, marriages broken because of that. So I would love to know what your take is on this one. I definitely had visceral reactions, let me tell you. And these were mine. Otherwise, I will hear you with other videos. And I wish you the audacity to be honest with your partner. And if you want to prepare for that, I wish you that you go for counseling, coaching, therapy, like work that muscle of sincerity. It is not easy. I'll be the first one to admit this. It's not easy. But it is totally worth putting in this work. Okay? It saves you a lot of trouble in the end. See you next time. Bye.